everyone, Voodoo here, and I am officially back from my vacation. So thank you for all the support while I was gone. Tried my best to catch up on comments and stuff like that. So I appreciate it. But today we're back with our first video post-vacation, and not a ton has changed since I'm gone, so I figured it's time to talk about AoE builds. Now, we don't have AoE sims for Havoc right now. They don't really work that well. So a lot of these things are based on theory and testing that other people have done. Again, I've been away, so shout out to everybody who's been doing some testing. So we have a few different builds today, talk about their benefits, negatives, and what I think is the best, and all that stuff. So make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Best way to help support the channel. If you like my content and you want to see me grow, do that. And let's get on to it. Before we do though, quick word from our sponsor. Before we get to the video, a quick word from this video's sponsor, and that is going to be G Fuel, but not just G Fuel this time. It's also going to be Neopets. Now, Neopets is one of those things that if you grew up in the early 2000s, late 90s, that you probably know a little bit about. It's an online gaming pet simulator, take care of thing with a lot of really cool creatures. It was really, really popular when I was younger. I remember coming home and playing this, and they're turning 25. And to celebrate, G Fuel is releasing a brand new flavor and bundle just for them, the Great Golden Slushy and Golden Berry flavor. Now, there's an entire bundle with this as well, as you see on your screen right here. So if you remember playing with Neopets when you were younger, you love that stuff, or you just want to help support the channel, go check them out. The flavor is delicious. It has like 17 different berry blends to it. It's got the energy flavor in it as well for helping with gaming, gym stuff, or anything else. So yeah, so just go check them out. Neopets turning 25, help celebrate with that, and check out G Fuel as well, the hydration formula for gamers. So use code Voodoo or link in the description. And thanks for sponsoring the video. Now on to the real one. Hi everybody, so again, thank you to G Fuel. Neopets 25th anniversary, big Neopets guys, go check that out. Love playing that with a kid. But we're here with Mythic Plus / AoE builds. So again, we have two primary build styles here. Fel-Scarred got a lot of buffs recently and actually is pretty viable in Mythic Plus. We're gonna bury the lead a bit here, and I do think Aldrachi is better. It's more versatile, better single target, stuff like that. Both of them are pretty close. With that out of the way, let's talk about them. So this is the, what I want to say, best Mythic Plus build for Aldrachi, and this is basically just what we're playing currently on live or last season. Now, there are a few different points here. One of them being Sigil of Spite instead of Collective Anguish. This is simply just for the sigils, the souls you get from sigils. Same with soul sigils. This gives you a lot more souls to be able to just chuck out glaives. Speaking of glaives, you notice we have most of the glaive package. Now, Accelerated Blade and Soul Scar are the main ones here. However, I do believe it's a little bit better in where if you take Serrated Glaive, it's a bit back and forth on that, not fully certain. I think these are probably about the same. There has been some arguments about Furious Throws being better. Personally, I don't think it's as good because this build really wants to push Chaos Strikes. You get more souls and more Blade Dance resets from your tier set. And they also did buff I-Beam by 100%, which is kind of fun now. It does more than a tickle. So Blind Fury gains value there and does more in higher pull counts. But dungeons are also pretty low target count this season. And if those dungeons are very low target count, then I do believe that Furious Throws, Serrated Glaive will end up being a bit better. Furious Throws, of course, can be swapped out for Blind Fury or even Furious Gaze. There's a lot of options here with these last 2 points, right? Your main choices are any two of Furious Throws, Serrated Glaive, or Furious Gaze, Blind Fury. Any of those are going to be good. Looks can kill even might be fine, but not as good as the other one. So for this, we're going to just do Furious Gaze and Serrated Glaive because they're just pretty simple stuff. And this is the build. Very similar to what we're doing now. A little rusty, but we'll look at a little bit of AoE damage from it. A lot of the damage is going to just come in from your hero talent tree here with Art of the Glaive and with the Reaver's Mark slashes. Not Reaver's Mark slashes, sorry. The Fury of the Aldrachi slashes. So we'll go in. I don't see my hunt on my bar, but it's fine. We'll see if I can remember how to actually play this game after being gone for a week. So we'll start off with this and this. Hunt in and give us our first glaive. Gonna do it, get all of our stuff back here. Fel Rush through, grab another Fel Rush, put down our sigil, backflip into I-Beam. We should have another glaive at this point. There it is. Boop, boop, boop. And we do a little combo. Sorry, I'm very focused on not messing up the combo. But here we are, and we're capping on glaive. So at this point, it's pretty simple and straightforward stuff here. We're just trying to... Oh, sorry, I thought my thing was off, but it wasn't. We're just trying to simply cycle through all of our cooldowns and get as many souls as we can. You do have a soul tracker now. You kind of just want to throw this as much as possible and end up just buffing the AoE slashes. So you can see here, we're actually doing a pretty solid amount of damage there. Wasn't a perfect rotation by any means because I am a little rusty, so apologies there. But a lot of soul scar damage from Reaver's Glaive. Reaver's Glaive hits really hard. This is 3 casts of it. A lot of death sweep damage. Art of the Glaive does a lot of damage now as well. So really good damage here from this build. I'm just pretty sure Preemptive Strike doesn't function 100% properly, but this build has really strong burst, has really strong single target, and also really good sustain, and it's very versatile. So I really do think this is going to be like the best option for you here. Doing the rotation better than I just did will obviously net you more damage and stuff like that. A little rusty, but this I think is going to be our #1 option. Now, if you want something a little more no mover for this sort of style here, then you have this. And I'm not going to go through a lot of rotation for this one. Again, you know, choices are between the same stuff as always. There is a world where you could drop Inner Demon for something like Glaive Tempest, something like Fel Barrage. I'm taking Inner Demon for the simplicity. Aldrachi Reaver is one of those things where it's pretty complicated, and the more stuff you add to it with like Glaive Tempest, with Fel Barrage, the more confusing and convoluted it gets. Same kind of thing with Fury's Throws. So this is kind of what we are rocking with for now. Obviously, I don't have meta. One other fun little thing is actually just spreading around your Reaver's marks, just putting the damage amp on multiple different targets is pretty good, just in like a general sense of things. Because they nerfed it down to 14%, it is a lot less of an impact point for the whole tree itself, and Fury Aldrachi actually does like a ton of damage. So if you're in AoE scenarios, it's always better to empower this one than the other one. But yeah, so here is our more single target based opener, or not single target, sorry, more simple based opener, should I say. Do the same thing as always, boop, boop. We should by now have built up into another one. Pretty easy stuff there. Go back in, Essence Break, boop. My Essence Break didn't go off because it's not actually on a keybind, which is wonderful. But you get the idea here. It's pretty straightforward. We're just doing no mover stuff. The damage isn't even that much different compared to the other thing because obviously we're doing pretty simple burst stuff here. And I did the rotation a little easier. So, you know, if you're someone who struggles more with the Havoc rotation, then obviously this is a realistic and viable option for you. We got some souls, boop, perfect, throw our thing, and then we're in power this, so we get a bunch of slashes. So you get the idea. Easier, ceiling is a lot lower, obviously. Inertia is just so good, same with Unbound Chaos, but it's pretty easy to do if you want a simpler option. So that's kind of it for Aldrachi. So again, I do think that this is going to be our best build. It's the best simply because its single target is the best, its AoE is the best in terms of kind of sustain and versatility and priority and stuff like that. And the skill ceiling is much higher. If you're somebody who is really good at this game, you really want to dive in and do the best you can, improve a lot, and hit your ceiling, this build will offer a ton of DPS for you. It is very complicated. It is complex. I think it's less fun than it is currently on live because you have to balance the glaive stuff, but that option is there for you in order to go out and do the most damage. Now, if you want something a little more fun, in my opinion, but with less potential, then you're going to swap over to Fel-Scarred based builds. All right, so here we are with Fel-Scarred, and this is our highest possible burst AoE option. It does the most burst AoE, the simplest with something like Fel Barrage, which is actually really cool that we can take it again. And it's just pretty straightforward Fel-Scarred stuff. Now, again, there are a few flex points. One of them being this. Flamebound's a really strong passive for Rage Fires and Immolation aura damage, but I do think that Student of Suffering being a 20% mastery amp, it puts me up like 50% mastery, that we line up with basically all of our cooldowns as well as Fury for Fel Barrage is actually really, really powerful and really strong. Now, it's tough to say which is better. I think both of these are good options. Simpler passive option, really good passive damage. Immolation Aura 2-yard increased radius is really good as well. Student of Suffering is going to be a more active option with a lot more burst damage, but a little bit less in terms of like just kind of being harder to play, I guess you could say. It's still both pretty good. In terms of the tree here, the main flex point in this build is Fel Barrage. Now, Fel Barrage offers a very flexible, very powerful AoE nuke, basically. It's going to show up pretty high on your damage meter because of Untethered Fury, getting extra Fury and all the other Fury generational abilities into the Fel-Scarred tree. You get a lot of Fury to keep this going while still doing your rotation, which feels pretty good. Now, Fel Barrage is, of course, not very flexible. Taking Glaive Tempest is a respectable alternative. Taking Inner Demon is another respectable alternative, and a nice, easy, passive one. There's also a build that uses Soul Scar, which we'll get to. But this is kind of just the build that a lot of people have been using when they're playing Fel-Scarred, and it does pretty well. Now, again, we'll see if I mess up the rotation. I probably will because I'm so out of the loop. But similar to how we play on live, Hunt in, Immolation Aura, Fel Rush, Sigil of Flame, do this again, backflip. I-Beam, Fel Rush through, Annihilation, Essence Break, Death Sweep, Meta. Then we're going to Fel Barrage, use Sigil Flame again. I missed the Death Sweep and I-Beam, but it's whatever. We're just trying to stay high on our Fury here as Fel Barrage ticks down. And you can see I'm bursting for a ton. Now, I missed that Death Sweep. That's my bad. Talking and playing first video back after a while I'm talking to you wonderful folks got me a little off my game. But see here, the burst damage is pretty real. I think I actually missed the Demon Surge too. But the burst damage is pretty real. Fel Barrage is a really strong burst option. It remains that way. Death Sweep deals a lot of damage. You're going to do a lot of damage outside of your cooldowns as well because they buffed Enduring Torment and Monster Rising. And Burning Blades is also pretty strong. So there's that. If you're a really big Fel Barrage fan, I would give this a go. However, you do fall off outside of your cooldowns because you're not able to keep up that damage amp like Aldrachi Reaver has, and you're much less flexible, but you do pretty strong burst damage. But again, I do think in proper hands maybe that Aldrachi Reaver will perform higher than this. But this is pretty fun, and you have multiple options with Fel Barrage and Essence Break, so you can actually do single target DPS. Now, speaking of Burning Blades, there's a build right now that involves glaives, which I can't actually show you because we are waiting 10 seconds here for Fel Barrage to come off cooldown. But the basic idea here is that Burning Blades right now is a 60% damage amp on Chaos Strike, Throw Glaive, and auto attacks. Now this is fire, so it does get converted with any means necessary and gets amped up. Same with something like Demon Surge. And this actually leads to a build with Fel-Scarred and using Throw Glaive. Now, this does lock you in. This basically removes all your flex points. There's not really anything you can drop in this tree. This is you playing almost exactly the same as live. Again, you can maybe swap out Furious Gates for Serrated Glaive. Now, there's one thing here where I do think this might change. Currently, it doesn't work with Annihilation. It says Chaos Strike, but doesn't buff Annihilation. That is a bug that's been reported. I would expect Annihilation to work with this, and I would expect this to be nerfed to compensate that. When this gets nerfed, I don't think the Throw Glaive build will be very good, as you are investing a lot of points into basically what amounts to like 6% of your damage. But it's basically the same thing where you're using the Mastery Amp, you're throwing your glaives out with like Inertia, and you have your Demon Surges and stuff like that. So we'll try and do it here. Rush in, throw our glaive, hunt, do this, backflip, I-Beam, rush in, boop, boop, boop. Ooh, sorry, I'm really focusing here while I'm trying to do the rotation properly for you guys. But there you go. So now we're just in this mode here. We're trying to throw our glaives instead of Chaos Striking so we don't cap. And you can see here, the burst is pretty good. We will fall off a bit as we go through our rotation here compared to Aldrachi Reaver. And of course, we do have to remember this is much easier. So myself, who hasn't been playing the game in about a week and a half and has been backpacking in the bush, will do an easier job. We look at the breakdown here. We see that Fel-Scarred and Burning Blades takes up roughly 8%, a little bit less, more or less 8%, 9%, 7%, something in that ballpark, as the dots will tick up here. So there's that. Now, the thing with that is that it's consistent damage. It's not burst damage like Fel Barrage is, or like, I guess, Blind Fury shows up as, or something like that. But it's pretty good. It's pretty simple to do. It does go a bit against what the tree wants to do and what your tier set wants to do and stuff like that. But it definitely does work. Now, if this actually ever does get changed, I do expect this to not work quite as well. But it is currently an option if you are playing on beta. Finally, if you want like a no mover Fel-Scarred, this is like just simplest as simple can be. 2 points Blind Fury, Inner Demon, Fel Barrage, Critical Chaos, Fire inside to just get more Rage Fires and stuff like that with Essence Break. And you just kind of push buttons and blow things up. Again, I do think this is the worst option of all the ones I've shown. Maybe tied up there with Aldrachi. Where is it? Aldrachi no mover. Inertia is just so powerful in Mythic Plus. And of course, I'm just showing off burst stuff. If you want to see me actually doing this stuff live, I'm going to try and do Beta M Plus this week, maybe Wednesday or Thursday. I think I'm rating Wednesday. I don't know. Sometime this week, we're going to try and do some Beta M Plus testing to see if we can actually get like a group or something. We'll see if that happens. But yeah, so the basic idea is going to be very similar to what we just did, except there's no Fel rushing, so it's a little bit easier. So Immolation Aura, Hunt in, Immolation Aura again, because why not? Sigil of Flame, Backflip, I-Beam, Chaos Strike, Essence Break, which isn't even on a bind, Death Sweep, Meta, like that. We missed our second Death Sweep, it's fine. Fel Barrage, boop, and then we're just kind of pushing a lot of buttons, and we have so much Fury that we are just keeping up it so easily and just winning, right? So here's the breakdown. Again, I don't know why my bind is missing for deaths for essence break, so we kind of slowed everything down there. What is E even? Oh, I'm popping a potion. So results are a little off for the no mover because I popped a potion by accident. But here's your breakdown with this, and again, I am running Flamebound, which does kind of throw Immolation Ore up there. So there's a lot of choices right now for Mythic Plus stuff for Havoc, which is pretty good. And of course, if you want to see me test stuff later this week on Twitch, I will be doing that. So those are the builds. So there we go. There's a lot of diversity and like different build choice in Mythic Plus, which is actually really good. It's what an ecologist would call a very strong and healthy ecosystem. Everything has its niche. Now, I do think Havoc is going to be less fun than on live, but in Mythic Plus, I actually do think a lot of the changes recently have made things a lot more bearable. You have that high skill ceiling, really strong option in Aldrachi, where if you're a great player, you want to get the most out of your spec, you can play that. You also have the brain off, fun, just blast Fel-Scarred option. You can play Fel Barrage there. A lot of options there within the trees themselves, a lot of options in build choices. There's a lot of choice for Mythic Plus, which is really good. I will say they did good there. I think there's a lot of problems with both Havoc trees still, but I will say that Mythic Plus, the choice and amount of options in Mythic Plus is there, which is fun. So I will say, if you're an M+er, I think Havoc's going to be pretty solid. I don't know if it's going to be meta or anything like that. I haven't been keeping up with things at all. Like I said, I was in the woods for 5 days. That's why I was a little rusty for this video. So rotation and stuff aren't as perfect, as clean as they should be or could be. I'll keep that for later. But you get the idea, right? A lot of choices, and it's pretty good. So we'll have links for all the builds in the description, hopefully. And yeah, that's gonna be the video. So let me know what you think. Are you excited for Mythic Plus? The dungeons look kind of iffy. We'll see if they end up saving them, fixing them in the next few weeks. But we'll be playing a lot. I hope to stream Mythic Plus actually for real this time. Surely actually for real this time I'll do it. We'll see. But yeah, there you go. So like, comment, subscribe. Again, thanks for all the support while I was gone. Shout out to G Fuel and Neopets for sponsoring this video. And yeah, see you guys around. Peace. A big thank you to all of my channel members. Thank you, Sky Elk, Andrew Keenel, 100,001 Zans, Brad Wisniak, Felfa Darren Dark Terror, and Magic Man 133. Thank you all so much. If you want to help support me and help fund the channels and the videos, follow the link in the description to become a channel member and get some cool perks in the process. Again, thank you all so much. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.